Hello everyone, I'm back with another video extending from the conversation I was last having about balance or the need for balance between the masculine and feminine. I had this card, I'd drawn this card, Balanced Forces, and had talked more about my experiences in the first part of the year. Being driven more by the masculine than the feminine. And then after drawing this card and talking about it, I immediately drew another card, which was freedom. And I kind of let it lay there, didn't know whether I would talk about it further. So it sat here for maybe a week or two. And then there was at least one video where the mention of freedom came up. And then I just yesterday decided to talk about it with a friend. And we drew more cards. So on her side, she drew the King of Cups and the solar plexus chakra. On my side, I drew the High Priestess and Reclaim Your Energy. Throughout our discussions, we ended up feeling like freedom was empowering ourselves. The solar plexus card is in the middle of our bellies, and it relates to our personal power. The High Priestess card also has this connection going on with the upper realms, the spiritual realms, our higher self, source, God, whatever you want to call that. And yet she's going inward. You can see that her eyes are closed and she's somewhere inside of herself rather than outside of herself. Likewise, this man on this image is also seeming to be inward. His eyes are closed, and there's a hint of his heart expanding. Cups being part of the emotional center in particular. And then looking at this card, it reminded me of Kundalini energy, which comes up from the base of the spine and goes all through the chakras. And I believe there's a belief that when our chakras are all open and aligned, that we are more into or most empowered within our own power. So that is what it made me think of. Funnily though, too, with her hands on her head, it made me think of having your head screwed on right. So if you're balanced within yourself, then your mind's not running away with negative thoughts or intrusive energies and that kind of thing. Your alignment with yourself in relationship to others and the earth. So from there, I went to think about different stones that might be supportive with this aspect. And the first one I thought of was a flower agate, in particular because of the solar plexus chakra being yellow, and the fact that this one happens to be yellow. Flower agate doesn't always come in yellow, but this one is. And came to realign myself with what this stone brings out. And so it can expose trauma and self-constraints, helps to connect with emotions, and to open the heart. So this one seems to be quite associated with the King of Cups over here. Going inward, opening the heart, connecting to the emotions, and trying to dispel those traumas within us that are perhaps ruling our lives in ways that we do not want. The next one I think I saw was citrine. And citrine is related to creativity, will, desire, taking physical action, connecting with the earth. With all of these that I chose today, there seems to be a theme in the physical realm itself. Is given that we are on this earth in physical form, that we have a need to be empowered in ourselves in connection with the earth versus in connection with spirit. When we live, before we're born or after we die, we're in, I believe, the spirit realm, and we know and feel and connect with our power in that realm. But this is more, or these stones are more in connecting with the physical realm, the earth, and having power as we're here on the earth. In between, I also thought about, or chose, because it was sitting here, this stone that I found somewhere. And to me, there's kind of like these people, kind of like a council of people, and there's a bit of radiance coming off of them, like our spiritual guides and helpers, or maybe different aspects of ourself that exist within our heart. That there might be some equation between this that's happening in his heart and what's happening among the people on this stone. And finally, I chose golden healer, a stone of manifesting power, will, desire, grounding with the physical again, and bonding with self and with earth. Like I was talking about before, that we're in the physical realm and we're on earth, and it's about bringing our power forward in this realm. So I wanted to do some art in relationship with the different things that were coming forward with balancing feminine and masculine energies, and with this idea of what freedom is. So I have here, what is freedom? So that maybe we can discover a little more about this, and maybe how we can attain that for ourselves, for our communities, for the world, in ways that are beneficial rather than damaging. So I'm just going to ground in a bit, and maybe I'll choose this golden healer to hold for a moment. And taking a deep breath. I'm reminding myself of the intention of what is power. No. What is freedom? But maybe they are one and the same. What is my personal power? What is our freedom? Maybe that's like a direct answer that we've been speaking of, is that freedom is our power. It's about knowing our power. This point that I'm touching here, I'm right kind of at the breastbone, I guess. My Kundalini class, I think she was referring to it as like the God's point or something. I'm not very good at remembering when people are saying a specific word or point or definition. Which is, I'm finding that a little bit humorous because recently, last Sunday, I went on a hike to a place that's called the God's Thumb. And I did create a video on that if you're interested in seeing the sights above that hike. I'm thinking about just our connection to spirit, to source, as was in this High Priestess card. And then this one is showing that power center, that God's point within us that allows that connection. But then to go inward and ground ourselves in this realm. And then as it is the evening here, I'm thinking that one of these stones, maybe it was the Golden Healer, some of the verbiage was mentioning that it's a good time to go out and meditate during the dusk and dawn periods, those in-between times that I've always felt that is so sweet, period of time that feels so good, to take the time to meditate at that time and on the earth, if possible. And now I'm feeling myself take another deep breath, which I think is an indication to get started. But I also feel like sound is wanting to come. So I'm going to allow that to come through. So as I did that, I was feeling first like an expansion in this area, that then wanted to ground with the lower tone. And then when it came back, it started to swirl, which also wanted to ground. And then it just wanted to breathe, I guess. So we're taking in all of this energy, these thoughts, these feelings, these sounds, to go into this drawing. I'm holding my hands like this balanced forces, but I hold my hands this way a lot, so who knows. But I'm open to receiving. And I'm seeing the crystal above her head here, which reminds me of the crown chakra and our connection to source or spirit. So I feel like there's going to be influence with that in here. And maybe that's an inspiration for beginning. I feel like drawing this crystal here in blue for whatever reason. Just kind of the shape of it. Blue crystals. The only one I can think of right now is appetite, which is related to intuition or your extrasensory perception. It feels like a vibration outward. Which is also mirroring this part here a little bit. So kind of like vibrating your frequency outward. The white reminds me more of the color of spirit, white, pure light. And this appears to be coming downward, which makes me think of my mention of when we were in spirit. When we are in spirit, we know our power. But when we are on earth, we can forget about what that power is, or have difficulty remembering what that power is. And now I'm beginning to see like a bird in flight. which started to make me want to draw like bird's wings, but then something about that didn't feel right. So I'm continuing to draw the tail, I guess. Now I'm feeling drawn to purple. Like right in here. Purple or indigo generally relates to the third eye and the intuition. My mom's cat, Smudge, is in here today, and he's wandering around, and not sure if he wants to go out or what he's doing at the moment. He's probably curious about what's happening here. And as I've been distracted with that, I'm doing something that I didn't think I was going to do, but expanding this purple more than I thought I was going to do. And here's where the wings want to come in, or it feels like the body of a person with the arms up and expanding. Yes. Are you here to join us? Hmm? This one wants to come this way. And this one wants to come this way as well. Do you want out? Okay, come on. I don't think he knows what quite to make of what I'm doing, so usually it's kind of quiet in here and he likes to come take a nap, but he's off onto doing other things at the moment. So this starts to make me think of a dance. Not just opening, but flowing. And there seems to be some kind of depth within this crystal. I'm just waiting for what else wants to come. Kind of looking at the top here. Almost seeing like a little spirit or dragon or something. I don't know if I can bring it out. Sometimes it just makes it fade. But by doing that, that makes me think of growth. Growth of the spirit, perhaps. Growth between the spiritual and physical realms. I filled in this what looked like spirit, but now it looks like a surfer or something. Who knows what that is? Maybe it's like the waves of floating on the waves of spirit, or being in alignment with spirit. Hearing our guidance. Maybe it's about playing with spirit. Not thinking that spirit is some all-knowing, but that we're in a co-creation together. We're expanding together. We're having fun together. We're not just in this life. This on earth is a dismal place. There's a lot of places of joy that exist. There's a lot of places of joy that can be had. At least in our current iteration or existence, some of that has maybe required us to go through trauma, to learn to come back out through another side and create that growth within us. But maybe there's another way that we can now be in our power and have freedom. I'm thinking now whether this reflects anything in the drawing here, and also being reminded of the dragonfly that's being shown here. And it's been within the past year that dragonflies have been coming up for me. So I forgot to mention that aspect. But dragonflies are, one aspect is mobility, because they have 2 sets of wings and they can move separately, so that they're not like birds that have to use them together. They have more mobility in each of these kind of lobes, I guess. Yeah, lobes, I think is what I was looking for here. And I'm seeing on this particular card that there are these eyes within these upper lobes. So if you think about the wing being able to move in different directions, it also makes me think that it can see in different directions. But there's a lot of immobility here, as there is in this image. And as the spirit being turns into this surfer, and think about the surfer moving along the waves, and how the surfer needs to move to manage those waves. And this card is in blue, which, you know, resembles water. and emotions, movement of emotions perhaps. Green that we've been using here is more associated with the heart chakra. And that's where the emotional realms, at least I'm thinking about this card, the King of Cups, and going inward and finding that space within us that's our heart and our emotion and our desire and our will for being here. So there's this dance that appears to be happening. I wonder what else it wants. It made me think of, we've done something with the spirit, but what about the earth? And this seems to want to flow more smoothly, or being slow versus choppy. Up here with these green waves, it seemed very choppy, but this wants to be more flowing like the wind. More stabilizing, perhaps, like the earth. Maybe there's a suggestion to slow down, to be with the earth, perhaps to be satisfied with the earth, that we're on the earth. To be here and appreciate the space that we're connecting with. Like maybe we can always be in the spirit realm, but we can't always be on the earth. There's kind of this feeling as I come up on this like foot here of being engulfed a little bit. Like I could keep drawing and it might be like the rising waters that can engulf if there's a flood kind of thing. There was something that I just lost about, maybe it's about engulfing ourselves in the earth, to be more present with the earth, to have a greater experience of our power in relation to it. And now I'm reminded that I was feeling like this was kind of a figure eight, and yet this part comes out here. I think I want to put that in, but in a different color, because it's not exactly part of this, and yet it feels like it wants to come. Red being more associated with the root chakra. And it feels like this wants to go up to the spirit realm and back down to the earth and around and up and down and around, so that we go up perhaps to get our power from our spirit and come down and ground that into the earth. And we go back up again. And the cycle repeats. But really what's happening is down here in the center, which I'm feeling the yellow, the solar plexus that we've talked about, and all of this flower, agate, golden healer, citrine relating to that solar plexus. And I'm reminded that when I was doing the toning, the sounds, that it started out with an expansion. Like maybe the infinity was the expansion, and then it started swirling around. From the power center, and then mostly downward is where it went. Because again, we're here in the physical realm and we're working with the earth. We're going to ground our energy into the earth to be in connection with the earth. I'm feeling like doing the yellow, which is the power center, and I'm also thinking about orange, which is the sacral. It's our creative center. But also that the earth has these brown hues, has orange. Thinking more of the soil itself. And red. Which are all the lower chakras. And now this kind of foot does look like it's kind of like in water, even though it's the earth. Maybe it's the energy of the earth that the foot has dipped its toe in as it dances. I'm feeling above some kind of a blue or This is more of a green, but like it wants something more up here. And because I felt like movement towards this center point here, kind of has this funneling kind of effect on this spirit being here, which makes me think of our higher self, that aspect that is guiding this journey in the physical realm. Or like has the map of what we came down here to explore. Maybe that blue that I was thinking about earlier. Ooh, I think this set doesn't have the blue that I wanted. Oh, here it is. I think. Maybe. Sure why blue other than maybe blue sky, representing the upper realms. Often we look to the sky for spirit. Now I'm doing the purple. Looks like I got too much. Makes me think of Aurora Borealis in the sky kind of thing. Not sure what it wants in here. Maybe some yellow. Maybe emphasizing what I was saying, that maybe this is the higher self up here. Directing the surfboard. Lighting up the sky, the spirit realm. Makes me think about sharing our experiences within the collective. That once when we come down to earth and we have our experiences, then those experiences go back upward. So part of it is negotiating our power in the physical realm, and part of it is sharing that power back to source or spirit or whatever you believe it comes from, or that it comes from, or that we together are having these experiences together for some kind of purpose and some kind of growth that occurs between all of us. Which reminds me that I believe that we are essentially all having an experience of a particular energy at once, and we're making different choices based on that experience of energy, which then we all collectively learn from. So being in our power and expressing freedom is about taking that essence of ourselves and being in action on the earth so that we contribute to our collective growth. So freedom is maybe contributing to our collective growth because we have the freedom to have differing experiences and not the same experience. To not just have a single goal in mind, to not be bored with a single-minded approach to anything, to be exploratory, to have movement, to be expressive, to take that spark of source within us and our situations around us to expand ourselves, to grow, to have life within us versus death. And yet there's always that life and death cycle happening within us and everything on earth. And to be empowered to do that is our freedom. And I don't know whether I mentioned it. I don't think I did when I started to talk about the freedom card, because I don't think it relates to, oh, we can do whatever we want. We can be as violent as we want. We can be as destructive as we want. Or I don't think it relates also to how many laws we can create to provide that freedom for us. This is more about the inner freedom within us. How can we flow and create in a way that enhances our growth together? And maybe some of those things, like the violence and the laws and whatever you might equate to being difficult to manage or negative experiences, that perhaps our evolution has the chance of doing something different now because we've learned enough from those more negative experiences to know how we want to be together and to be in our own power in a way that supports us to our next level of growth and expansion together. Hmm. And this feels like almost like a wall or a gate. I mean, it kind of looks like a head, but also it's straight up and down. I feel like it wants to go horizontal. Maybe if that's our intuitive center, it's about expanding the knowledge past the point that we have been able to do before. Kind of feels like wings now, like maybe allowing the intuition to take flight. Maybe allowing the intuition to come forth more than it has in recent decades or centuries. To know more about our power, what it is, how to use it appropriately. Somehow this is reminding me, I don't know what the symbol is called, but I think it's like a heart with wings on it. So something like that, if you know what that symbol is. And then now it needs more purple. So now it feels like the gates are more open. And there's a greater amount of flow that's around this power. But overall, there's these feelings of immersion. That there are no firm boundaries. like the toe dipping down into the earth, and these wings being part of this movement and flow. But it all feels quite watery. Watery. It's interesting that well, here it does feel like a belly, and the yellow solar plexus power center coming out. So, and this felt like the head. So the heart is kind of in here, but the green that I would associate with the heart chakra is up here. The grass is greener, or we think the grass is greener in the spirit realm. I mean, it feels like a kind of a surfer dude up here, but he's surfing in the green versus blue waters. So he's surfing in the heart. Maybe the higher self, the spirit, is trying to connect with the heart within the emotions. To somehow bring that downward. And yet there's not really a connection line happening here. I'm not finding anything else to move on that. So it seems like that might be something left to ponder. To float on the emotions in a mixture of spirit as a resource from above, and to dance and to expand our intuition. But again, we're talking about freedom. Having a freedom within our emotions. And a freedom to expand ourselves while we dance on this earth. And maybe that's what the message is for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.